Hello, my name is Jen Watson, and this is the 15 concepts to intertwine with my philosophy / metaphor. So, I guess I'll begin. Alright, I'm just pretty much going to read off the list of terms, and hopefully it's good enough. The first term that I will implement into my teaching strategy, I guess, is facilitating anxiety. In my high school, my choir teacher, she, in order to ensure or make sure that we had our parts memorized for a song and the words and everything, she would threaten us that, like, let's say, the next day, she'd say that the next day we were all required to sing in a 4-person quartet, so 1 person on each part, and to sing it perfectly, and if we don't, then we get a bad grade for that day. And so that's where facilitating anxiety comes in. It's good it's good anxiety that makes you go memorize the piece and to also do well. Next term is extrinsic motivation, and basically if they do what they are asked, they'll get a good grade. The intrinsic motivation that I hope to instill in my choir students is for them to want to experience all that singing beautiful music can bring. So to get all the benefits that singing beautiful music can give. And I also hope for them to want to improve their musicianship skills so that they can and more easily learn these beautiful pieces, and that they won't have to struggle as much, and that they can work on refining things such as dynamics and such sooner rather than still working on pitches and rhythm. So that's the intrinsic motivation I hope to instill. Next term is psychomotor domain, and with this I'm going to teach them how to use their voices and the mechanisms in their voice and techniques to sing better by using the voice properly. So I'll teach them little tricks here and there, and to have them engage their diaphragm, and to take, the right breath, and to put the sound in the right place, to sing from the right place in the voice and stuff like that, so that they can. Singing is a pretty physical thing, so all the physical things that go into singing I hope to instill. Next one is affective domain, and I want them to be able to emotionally connect to the music, and once they've learned the proper technique and rhythms and pitch in the song, that they can focus on their emotions and let their emotions take over, so that they may better execute and deliver the piece, deliver the meaning of the piece best, because they don't have to focus on pitch and rhythm anymore. They can just focus on what they want to convey to the audience and themselves as well. The next one is self-regulation, and I will expect my students to go home and work on the choral pieces themselves, because we're only given a very limited amount of time in class, maybe an hour a day or 2 hours every other day, depending on if there's block schedules or not. So I will make sure, this kind of goes along with the with the facilitating anxiety and the extrinsic motivation. I want them to put in extra time into learning their piece so that it can be rehearsed easier and executed better. So I think that's really important. The next one is cognitive domain, and this will go with teaching them the history of music and such, and the genre and the time period and stuff like that, and who composed it and how they were significant and their contributions to music. And also another thing that goes with cognitive domain is the ability to recognize intervals, read music, do math, to see, oh, is this 3 half steps or a sixth, or is it a major, minor, seventh, things like that. I think that all has to do with the cognitive domain. The next term is zone of proximal development. I understand that the majority of the class, I would say about 95% of the class, will not, at the beginning at least, know how to read music or read rhythms. And so I'm aware that without my help, or the help of any other professional musician, they cannot learn these rhythms and pitches and intervals and such without my help. And so I will test them at the beginning of the semester or the school year to see where they lie and to see how much help I need to give them. And so that's what I'm going to do. Next is self-efficacy. I want my students to feel as if they are capable of doing a lot. For example, hitting really high notes, hitting really low notes, something that may seem difficult, but I want them to feel like they're able to do it and that they're completely capable of doing so. Self-concept. I believe singing can really help you identify who you are. I believe you can, let's say, for example, you're singing a religious piece. I believe you can, through singing that, you can learn what really affects you or what things really help you get through a hard time, and what songs make you happy, what things that just help you identify who you are and what makes you feel a certain way, what certain phrases hit you a certain way and such. So self-esteem kind of goes along with self-efficacy. I want all my students to feel like they're the best, that they can do every piece, that there's no limits, and that they're all good musicians, and they're all worthy of being in a good choir, and worthy of learning music, and that they're completely capable of doing so. Number 12, I guess, term is control language. So I just finished my choral practicum class this semester, and my teacher actually talked a little bit about control language and information language. And when you first are teaching, let's say you're a new teacher or you're student teaching, and you have to get the respect of the class and to get them to listen to you and obey your words without tumbling over you, you have to use control language. You have to be firm, and you have to be concise, and you have to be demanding. Otherwise, they'll just walk all over you. If you're too nice, like, oh, can you please get this out because I'd really like you, they're not going to take you seriously, and you have to use control language, at least at the beginning. Maybe as time goes on, you can, get a little nicer, but at least, especially at the beginning, at least that's what my teacher says, especially at the beginning, You have to make sure you demand their respect. So that's control language and information both intertwined right there. Mnemonic devices. This is very important in music because a lot of things are hard to remember, such as reading notes on a staff. I was taught when I was learning to play the piano, on the treble clef, the spaces spelled out F-A-C-E, and those were the notes, and my answer was every good boy does fine, and in the bass clef it's every cow eats grass, and stuff like that. And I think using mnemonic devices like that are really, really helpful, and I know they help me, and I know they've helped a ton of people, so I think it's imperative to the learning of students. Last but not least, cueing. Obviously that's really important in choral conducting because, the whole time you're cueing, conducting and keeping time and pointing at the sopranos when they come in, pointing at the altos when they come in, making expressions and gestures with your face and your eyes and your hands so that they do exactly what you want them to do, make the sound that you want them to produce, exactly how you want it. And so in my job, cueing is so important. And so, yep, that's it. Thanks.